He's Jeff King. I'm Andy Erickson. This is not another shooting show. We go to Cottage Grove, Minnesota, where an officer from the Department of Homeland Security. I watched Fargo today, by the way, Jeff.
Oh, I can tell. I can tell.
You betcha.
You betcha, bud.
An officer from the Department of Homeland Security was brought to the hospital after accidentally shooting themselves in the leg during firearms training. A spokesman for the city of Cottage Grove said that a law enforcement agency was renting space at the Hero Center to conduct its own firearms training. The spokesperson later clarified that the agency was the Department of Homeland Security. An officer accidentally shot themselves in the leg during the training and was brought to the hospital, condition unknown at this time. So there you go. Oopsies.
So he shot himself mid-training? Like it wasn't, they're not even going to be like, oh, he was cleaning his gun.
No, just, it was a training incident. Now, I did Google, what is the standard issue firearm for Department of Homeland Security?
It's like we know.
What I read was, at least what Google AI told me was that they issue SIGs, but they also issue P229, 226, or M1718. But this is the AI search, so it's like, who the fuck knows?
Right.
But there was also a thing in the same paragraph that said they were switching to Glocks. Who the fuck knows? I don't know. I actually know a guy who works for DHS, but I don't have his phone number to text him. I could message him, but it doesn't matter now. Anyway, so, okay. My son was coming down here to play guitar, and I'm like, I'm recording. He's like, no, I'm getting my amp and stuff from here. Oh, okay. That works. Your wireless guitar cable is over there on my reloading bench, buddy, if that's what you're after. Okay, as we're recording this Sunday night, I just saw the video after I finally got out of the frickin' snowplow for the, what is it? I don't even know what day in a row this is. I haven't had a day off since my last day of elk hunting vacation. I have worked every single day since. I don't know what exactly when it happened. All the videos are popping up on Instagram here like Sunday afternoon and evening of the shooting, the Bondi Beach shooting in Australia. And two guys were attacking a Jewish festival is what I gleaned from headlines on the internet and whatnot. And one of them got disarmed by a guy. One of the reports is that his name was Ahmed Al-Ahmed. There was a different version of that name that was also floated out there, but sneaks up behind the dude. Now, Jeff, did you recognize what guns they're using? I did. They look like bush hunting rifles. So
yeah, there's some type of kind of modernized bolt action, or maybe not bolt.
I can't think of what that action's called. It's just like a push pull.
Yeah, I think it's called an eye bolt, possibly.
It's not. Wait, let me ask my son. He's a nerd. He knows this stuff. What's the rifle where they just push pull? Yeah. What is that called? Yeah. What is that called?
I actually don't know.
The normal one most people would be used to is the K31 from Switzerland that they call it a straight pull bolt action.
Straight pull, that's what it is. That's what it's called. Yep, that's it. Hey, we shut my door, buddy. Don't shoot my door. Just shut my door.
normally if you have Patreon to get this level of shit show
of background. Well, I never know when my kids are gonna walk in. He's like trying to talk to me without talking, and he's holding his bass, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. Okay. Anyway, so the dude walks up behind one of the shooters, gets the rifle out of his hand, and then is pointed at him. And it's pretty badass. Like, it was either brave or stupid, whichever you want to call it.
Normally the difference between the two is how successful you are.
Yeah, the 100%. And he was completely successful. He's also in the line of fire of the other guy.
Yeah.
When he does this. So, I mean, I guess Well, I guess they're not mutually exclusive. It could be brave and stupid.
Yeah.
You know?
He did end up getting shot twice, and then
I had not heard that.
Yeah, so in the video, because I'm on The Guardian right now, and they have the video up, and he basically like holds it on the guy, and the guy walks away, and either he might not have known how to use the rifle, he may not have wanted to fucking shoot someone, like, you know, it's a Sunday, maybe he wasn't planning to kill anyone that day.
Yeah.
And he's actually super smart. He's like, hey, I'm not with them, and like puts the gun against the tree and like kind of backs away from it. And then apparently he got shot twice, but they were shots to his arm, I believe. But they're saying he will survive.
So yeah, it's a pretty wild thing. Now here's a little behind the scenes. Before the show, I asked the question out loud. If he had shot the guy immediately, who he had just disarmed, he's no longer armed, would he have been charged with murder? I asked the question, and Jeff immediately is like, that's 2A propaganda.
100%.
It wasn't propaganda. It was a question.
Well,
I don't know the self-defense laws in Australia. I don't know.
I feel like you put other qualifiers on there, or other qualifiers were mentioned. But
I think you put the qualifiers in there in your own head.
Okay.
Is what I think happened. I was literally just asking a question.
Because you always hear that from in every realm of, oh my God, like someone breaks in your house and is beating you to death with a knife. If you fight back, you're going to go to jail. And you're like, that's not.
No, that's not. No. But once they literally, I mean, he took the lethal item away from him and he was on the ground and was laying there like a fat ass beach whale. He was pretty harmless at that moment.
But shots were still popping.
And it was, super intense. And I would like to think they wouldn't. I don't know. I was just asking the question if that would be that.
I would assume they wouldn't, because like, yeah, you'd look like a massive dick to be like, oh God, this guy like snuck up and disarmed this dude, and like as the other dude was shooting, he shot him, and then like had a running gun battle with the other guy. You'd have to be a real dick to be like, and you go to jail.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they the one, I think the kid died so it was a dad and son.
I think the kid is still alive, and dad
died. Oh, okay.
Died because dad crumpled when he went down. Eventually,
yeah,
he just fell in a pile, and then the other one was still moving around, and like there's a cop sitting on the one that's still alive, and then a guy walks up and like kicks him in the face. And
I mean,
the
fair
video's
enough.
pretty wild of the arrest. Like, I mean, fair enough. Yeah, I don't disagree, not at all. But no, that was just kind of a wild thing that happened right before that I came across in the hour before we were recording, because I don't have time to look at social media anymore because all I do is post now, for fuck's sake. Allegedly, there's no precipitation in the forecast for the next 10 days.
Allegedly.
Anyway, we have a guest on the show that we're going to get to here just as soon as I say patreon.com/notanothershooting show. It's only $3.57 a month, and you get all of the second episode every single week. r/NASS is our Reddit. Someone tried to shame Austin in there, which I found amusing. The MW Activewear, the finest jerseys you can get for your match. MW Activewear. Michelle really should just have a website, so I can just say mwactivewear.com, but I don't think that exists.
Not yet.
But she should. She really should. Northwoods Shootout is May 2nd and 3rd. In Forest Lake, Minnesota. Registration is open for that. Great Plains section. Registration opens New Year's Day at 10 a.m. for that. I haven't had time to. I've gotten people asking about doing staff, and I'm sorry. I haven't gotten that posted yet because I have done nothing but plow snow. Belt Championship, May 17th at Mission 160 in Texas. And Lane's doing a class January 24th at Jeff's gym. And are things fixed now, Jeff? Things were broken last week.
Things are better.
Okay. Owen fixed everything for you?
Yeah. Yep. He's a fucking champ.
Did he teach you how a screwdriver works?
I held the flashlight.
Oh, good. I did that a lot for my dad when I was a kid. I watched him do stuff, and I fetched beer and held a flashlight. Anyway, we have a guest this week. Oh, wow. I did not mean to turn you up that loud. Holy cow. I heard hissing. I'm like, what's going on? I turned him up a little bit, and it's like, Luke Elwood is on with us this week. There's a nickname, Jeff, isn't there?
The Miata?
What's your nickname, Luke?
Asian Luke?
Oh, no, I thought it was something to do with ROing.
I don't think so.
Oh,
Jeff,
okay, I'm misremembering. Okay.
I'm trying to remember. I've probably referred to you as the greatest RO in America.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, you were calling him the greatest RO in America. That's what it was.
I woke up that morning to a text from a friend, and it just said, well, Jeff really polished your wiener, didn't he?
Hey, he earned that polishing.
That was a match, wasn't it?
I never thought that I'd shoot under the license of Miata, but here I am.
What? Oh, that was the Oklahoma match. Okay.
Yep.
That's right. All right.
Yes, it was. That was a spectacular experience.
He could have RO'd for Area 2, or he could have RO'd for Oklahoma section, and I'm glad he chose the wrong one.
That's right. Luke, you were like the squad mom RO for them the whole match?
Essentially, yeah. So there were some staff dropouts, I think, late, and there realistically wasn't enough staff to have 2 ROs. The staff shot on, I guess it was Friday, and the main match was just 15 stages, 18-person squads, and we didn't have enough ROs to have 2 per every squad. So some of the more experienced ROs just got, here you go, here's the timer and the tablet, and have at it.
All right. Well,
yeah.
That's what I mean. That's my biggest fear, though. That was a big fear before Area 3. It's a fear before Great Plains every year. Like, I'm gonna have a bunch of staff drop out for whatever reason. And
I've worked a couple this year that had some real staff dropout issues, which, I mean, it happens. I believe Area 6, there was like 22 people that dropped out in a couple weeks before the match.
Oof.
Wow, that would be rough.
It was.
Then they only had 80 people to staff the match. Jeez, how did they ever survive without it being staff reset?
That staff reset was an interesting experience for a first time experience with it.
We've talked to a few people who just like I didn't care for it. Like as a shooter, they didn't really care for it. Like you stand around and do nothing.
I've never shot staff reset as just a competitor. I've worked 2 staff reset matches, and I'm really torn on it. Area 6 was interesting. And then 2 weeks later, I worked the Georgia State Championship, and it was legitimately one of the smoothest matches I've worked. So I think it has a lot to do with the composition of the staff and per stage, and just, yeah, I don't really know how I feel about it. I don't think I'd particularly like to do a lot of staff reset matches in the future, but I wouldn't say it's a total disqualifier for my desire to work a match.
So to introduce Luke, you are you're a USPSA shooter. What's your deal? You live in Texas?
Yeah, I live a little town in central Texas in the hill country, Fredericksburg.
For those of us who don't know what the hill country is, I hear Texans say that every once in a while. What's the hill country?
Okay, so it's like west of Austin, north of San Antonio kind of area. It's Texas wine country.
I think we're basically talking about European geography again. I don't really know. I know those places are south of Dallas.
It's south of Dallas, west of I-35. It's kind of the region of Texas that has the most varied landscape, I would say. We have slightly more trees and slightly more hills.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, because like Texas is mostly pretty flat, isn't it?
It gets pretty flat in most of the state. Out west, it gets real flat with some mountains out by like El Paso, and then I like to think that the hill country where I live is probably the nicest looking part of the state. my town's got a lot of 200 wineries or something like that.
Jesus.
Bougie.
It tries to
Holy crap.
Let's have a match in your town.
Yeah.
And that's the unfortunate thing is we don't have a major match in Central Texas. Even Austin, San Antonio, we don't have a major match. The closest ones are Dallas area and Houston.
That's crazy.
There's why isn't there? Just because no one does?
None of the ranges that we've been shooting at, most of them don't have it's base, the infrastructure. There's talk that in the next year or so, next year or two, there's going to be a level 2 in San Antonio, which would be great. I'd love to shoot a major, work a major, and sleep in my own bed at night.
Yeah. Honestly, a lot of times, I'm trying to think. It's 25 minutes to my house from the range for Great Plains. Sometimes I wish I was staying in a hotel. Well, there's only one hotel in Canton, but sometimes I wish I was just right there because it would save me so much time.
Yeah, I mean, my closest local match is about an hour and 20 minutes from my house.
Ooh, that's a drive.
Yeah. So that's the San Antonio ones are maybe an hour and 20-ish. Austin's about 2.
Okay.
My home club is Austin Practical Shooting in just outside Austin. Great match.
Why is Austin not showing up on this Google map? What the hell? It's just, how sometimes it's just like hiding stuff from you.
Yeah. Oh,
like, Bryan College Station is showing up, Houston's showing up, but I gotta zoom way the hell in, and I'm still not seeing where the fuck is Austin.
Pretty much dead center, middle of the state.
The Blake Shelton song.
I don't. It doesn't matter.
Great song.
It doesn't care anymore. Okay. So how long have you been shooting USPSA?
I shot my first match at the end of July of last year.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Your first ever match at the end of July last year?
Yes, sir.
Oh, you went balls deep hard.
Yeah. I'd been doing these the running gun type matches, like 8-9 mile courses where you carry all your shit. And after one of them, my buddy Dat was telling me about USPSA, and I was like, okay. So I got signed up, joined the organization, got a membership, got signed up, and shot my first match at the Austin Club in 27th of July last summer.
The map finally, it kept showing me McKinney Falls State Park instead of putting the word fucking Austin right over that city that was in the middle of the map. Okay. So you've been shooting it for 15 months or so.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it sounds about right.
And you got your RO cert and just immediately started, I'm going to RO all the matches.
So it was a weird situation. I got my RO back, it would have been February of this year. Then about 2 weeks later, I had been doing sales of side-by-sides and motorcycles, and I managed to roll a side-by-side over, shattered my left arm. At that point, I was signed up to RO a couple majors in the spring in Texas. Because I was like, okay, this would be cool. I'd like to shoot major matches. If I work the matches, I get my RO cert, work these matches. I don't have to pay a match fee. That'd be great. There's some, take care of some lodging, help cover some of the expenses, keep the costs down. Well, at this point, I find myself with a lot of free time and one broken arm. So I just said, well, I'm going to continue doing this. So I started shooting strong hand only. Worked my first major I worked was last year's Texas State Open Championship in Houston. And then I worked, my second one was Dragon's Cup. At Dragon's Cup, the CRO on my stage is a dude from Northern California named Hal. And him and a bunch of the other guys from like the Richmond, Linden gun clubs up in Bay Area, they travel pretty heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hey, I can do this. So I was like, what's my initial goal going to be? And I was like, I want to work every major in Texas this year. And there was 8 of them. And so at that point, I was like, okay, I like this. I like ROing. I like being able to give back to the sport. realistically, when I got hurt and I couldn't move my left arm, it's in 15 pieces, 20 pieces of titanium in there. I was like, the sport really gave me. It gave me a purpose. Every weekend I can go out and, work these matches and then shoot locals. And it gave me something to do while I was recovering. And I was like, I kind of just fell in love with the working aspect of the sport. So I started just getting signed up for every major I could find that said they needed an RO. After the spring, I emailed. Spring season was over. I'd worked, I think, 4 majors in the spring, all in Texas. I emailed Troy and got his permission and George Jones, the RMI instructor, to take my CRO class out at in Georgia for the Area 6 CRO course.
Oh, because you hadn't been an RO for a year?
Yeah, so I had to get permission because I'd been an RO for like 5 months, I think, 6 months. And so I got to take the CRO class and then managed to work a string in the fall of like 9 majors in 9 weeks.
Jesus.
Wow.
I think it was close to 30,000 miles just driving my stupid little car around the country.
Fuck.
Damn.
Got to work my first national match at IPSC Nationals. Got to work Area 4 and 6. And I just had a blast. And I was like, well, at this point, I'm committed. I'm going to continue doing this. And then I started booking out my 2026. And I was like, what do I want to do? I realized quickly I wanted to work World Shoot in 2029. I'm realistic about my ability as a shooter. I'm a low B class carry optic shooter. I'm not getting to shoot World Shoot unless I work. And so I was like, okay, what do I have to do? So I'm working a number of IPSC matches next year. I'll be able to get my match points for the International Range Officer certification. And so that's the goal is, start working more IPSC matches internationally so that I can hopefully work World Shoot in 29.
Damn. You're the first person I've ever heard say, I want to work as an RO at a World Shoot.
I'm going to blow your mind when I say this. I genuinely like working matches more than I enjoy shooting.
I enjoy working them. I don't enjoy it more. Let me say this. I'm happier when I work them because, I fuck up calls less than I fuck up stages. So
that I can certainly agree with.
But it still happens, but I do enjoy it, but I guess I'd rather be shooting. But no, that's a very interesting take that you actually like.
And there's been a couple this year that I just said, you know what, like two just dumpster fire stages into the staff match. I'm just like, well, if there's another major next weekend, I will save the 300 rounds of ammo that I'm burning into the dirt right now for a 51% of the carry optics winner finish, and I'll shoot next week. Oklahoma Sectional was one of those. I decided I was going to try to shoot L10 from concealment. It was not enjoyable.
Yeah, that sounds terrible. Were you doing all your reloads from concealment too?
I made a setup that would hold like 3 mags outside the waistband, but from technically concealment, I guess.
Like shirt over the top of it?
Shirt over it. Yeah, I wouldn't exactly walk out into public with that rig, but it was a dumpster fire. When you can't shoot a 12-round stage without a mag change, it's interesting. And I actually do enjoy shooting L10, but the added uncomfortability of shooting it from concealment, I was like, this isn't fun.
No, that would not be fun. So, okay, you're shooting all these matches, you're working all these matches. When you're an RO and there's, some tall dog, GM, Grandmaster, whatever. Sometimes they're not even that good. They just happen to be a Grandmaster. And they're like, hey, that's a double. How do you react to when somebody starts getting hot? Like, that's a 2, that's the double.
honestly, my background, I spent 10 years working in bars and nightclubs, restaurants. To me, the rules are the rules. They're the rules for everybody. I like to think I'd make the same scoring call for a GM as I would for a D-class shooter.
Well, yes, I would expect
and honestly,
you to.
I can't really say most of the super squad level GMs I've run into, those guys call their shots well enough. They know what they hit. You'll get one argue every once in a while, and at that point it's okay.
I've had a couple I had a couple who were. I mean, they weren't begging or trying to intimidate or anything. They were just one stared at a target that they really wanted an overlay on, but it was like a 3-yard target, and like I watched them miss it.
I mean, at that point, I'll break out the overlay. I'll look at it.
I did do the overlay. Sorry, I did do the overlay, and I'm just waiting for them to have the target pulled and call the range master, and I'm like, okay.
At that point, that's the escalation process for rules and scoring. It exists for a reason, and it's as a CRO, my job is to keep my stage running efficiently. At that point, okay, let's call the range master. If you really want me to, I'll call the RM. We'll get him down here, and he can make the final call. If we need to pull the target, we pull the target, but we just got to keep this moving efficiently.
But more what that question mostly was about, though, is just how do you like handle it from an interaction standpoint, not the call, not the elevation, like
personal response.
How do you handle the interaction? Yeah.
Hey, I want an overlay on that. Go overlay it. Hey, that's my call on that is Alpha Mike. And if they argue with me, then it's usually pretty quick to, if you'd like me to, I can call the range master down here. Mm-hmm. And I've had a couple of times where somebody's done that and they just go, no, it's fine. We're good. And a couple times where call the RM, scoring call either gets upheld or it gets turned over. I don't take it personally if it gets turned over either. That's why that process is in place.
I've had calls overturned before too, and it turns out like I completely forgot a couple of rules a couple of different times. But Jeff and I happen to have seen a pulled target get called a double that we both know was absolute horseshit.
Oh yeah, no, I've had a couple of those. I've had it with DQs and I've had it with scoring calls, and it's
really with DQs.
Don't name names, but like describe the situation.
I won't even name the match, to be honest. I had a shooter that he AD'd the other RO. I was gun focused. The other RO said he saw it go over the berm. The shooter said it didn't go over the berm. I personally didn't see impact on berm, over berm, either way. The shooter, I stopped him and said, hey, DQ, AD. He had just completed a reload, and he was trying to go. He was trying to move out of the position, and I don't think I'm trying to remember now. I don't think he'd gotten his second foot moving yet. It was very close. The RM came down. He looked at the video. He talked to me. He talked to the other RO, and it was enough gray area that he overturned the DQ and kept the shooter in the game. And honestly, sometimes it's at the end of the day, well, it's a game.
If it's a gray area DQ, I like that approach by the RM.
And personally, I didn't have a problem with it. I would much rather have a gray area call where the shooter gets to stay in than be sending somebody that paid a $200-something match fee home over something that, depending on how you look at it, could go either way.
Because if one RO says, I saw it go over the berm and it got overturned, usually that's when the RM asks the question, are you 100% sure? Were they not 100% sure?
The other RO had been it was like his third match.
Oh, okay.
And I personally didn't see it. And I was honest about that. I said, I don't know where that round impacted. I think there's a good chance it went over the berm, but to me, it's an I think, not I know.
Right.
I can't justifiably say I know it went over the berm.
Mm. Were there any busted windshields in the parking lot?
No. And,
that happened at Nationals, by the way. A guy parked just a few cars down from me. Back windshield of a rental car, or back window of a rental car, just shattered.
No shit.
I get real leery about where I park my car at majors. If there is steel, I will. I obviously I prefer, in a lot of majors the ROs can park right by their stage. If I've got a bunch of steel, I might be willing to just take a little bit farther of a walk on that one.
I'm not worried about. It's skipped bullets leaving the range is what I would be worried about. I don't know. That's
steel Jeff and I saw at Oklahoma. I was really worried about that.
It was a few of them were on their last leg or were bending like Beckham.
The match director for Oklahoma and I worked a stage together last weekend at the single stack major in Houston, and I asked him about that steel because Wiley you guys weren't sure about whether you said they looked like they'd taken shotgun slugs.
Yeah.
They did back in the day used to host 3-gun matches at that range.
Yeah. My bias is confirmed.
Yeah.
On poppers, like I've shot, when I used to shoot 3-gun, I shot slugs at like 18 by 24s or, like IPSC shaped targets. Never at a popper. Like, Jesus.
Well, and it could also be that they meant to shoot it with birdshot, and oh shit, that one wasn't birdshot.
Oh, that was Prairie Thunder 4-shot. Whoops.
Yeah.
I love the matches where you could do that, though. I shot Prairie Thunder. It's pheasant ammo. It's spicy too. And I think it's like 1,500 feet a second. It's like it's spicy.
That's moving.
And they didn't have a limit on shot size, so all right. So they had a spinner, and I shot the top one, and I shot the bottom one, and it went over, and that was the end of it. It was awesome. Okay, well,
so what's been the most interesting match, like as an RO that you, other than Oklahoma,
Oklahoma,
right? Which one other than that like sticks out in your brain as like a very interesting experience?
Interesting experience. Honestly, I'll say interesting and good would have been the Georgia State Championship. It was the second staff reset match I worked. And I worked Area 6, and I'm sure if you ask enough people that were Area 6, you'll hear some interesting things about Area 6 this year. Just Area 6 was probably not my favorite match I've ever worked, but it was, it is what it is. Sometimes you have 22 staff drop out 2 weeks before a match. That's not on Ben.
right.
That's things happen, and the Talladega's got the rules on what hours you can shoot at, so that compresses things.
Oh yeah, wasn't it in October too?
It was in October, yeah. So we, limited time frame, staff reset.
Here's another thing in the far eastern end of that time zone as well.
Yes.
So the sun's going down that much earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, we were pushing it from pretty much, and unfortunately, because of the rules of the range, they can't start shooting till 9 a.m., I believe, at Talladega. So you're losing a lot of daylight hours at the beginning of the day. Ugh. So that was an interesting experience there. So I went back home to Texas, worked Area 4, and then drove straight back out to Georgia to work their state match out at 17 South out by Savannah. It was a great match. And I was real leery going into it. I was like, oh man, staff reset again. This could be a shit show. And the match director let the CROs pick their own staff, which is an interesting concept that I really haven't seen anywhere else. And So I was like, okay, you know, at a state match like that, that's towards the end of the season. Yeah, I don't think we even. I think a number of the CROs on stages were ROs working up as CROs. As a CRO, I was like, okay, I can have uncertified staff members as ROs doing timer, tablet, whatever needs to be done. And I was like, what would I want to make this staff reset as efficient as possible? I was like, I want higher level shooters who are clearly better than me, and who can just, you know, look at a target, make a good correct scoring call easily and quickly, and who are, you know, spry. Not every RO in this sport is the most spry.
No, not.
To be fair, in 40 years, I'm probably not going to be the most spry either. So I was like, yeah, let me get a couple younger guys who are higher level shooters. And the way it worked was the staff shot, I want to say, on Thursday. The CROs, the match director, the RM shot Thursday. The rest of the staff shot Friday. The CROs worked their own stage and pretty much just would run the timer on the first shooter or two and then let the squad take care of it. And we were supposed to, you know, kind of watch and see, hey, which of these guys would I want to have on my staff for this stage? So, and, you know, keep either a list on your phone, in your head, whatever. So I was like, okay. And the first person I realized, I was like, I want this dude working my stage. This guy comes up, and he was a really competent A-class shooter, real good A-class shooter, CO shooter, named Scott. And he is wearing flip-flops, shorts, and shooting from appendix.
Let's go.
And I was
that sounds terrible. The flip flops is the thing I can't, like. I like wearing flip flops, but I hate it in a like dirty place.
I was like, this dude is showing up here wearing flip flops from appendix, and he's crushing it. He's doing great. I was like, I want that kind of vibes. And then I ran into a guy that I'd met at IPSC Nationals, David. He's one of Da Vinci's team shooters. I know he's like an open GM, PCCM class. A nice guy, really good dude. I was like, all right, let me grab him. And then Friday night, I knew he was on staff. Friday night, Tim Herron turned up. And Tim was like, hey, Luke. He's like, am I working your stage? I was like, yeah, you fucking are now. Walked straight over the board, wrote down Tim Herron. Because I think Tim shot all day Saturday and then worked Sunday with me on my stage because I think David had to go back home to West Virginia. So I had 2 ROs. And, man, that match was – that ran so smooth. We were averaging something like 2.5-minute turns per shooter on a 27-round course.
Nice.
Oh, you never mentioned that you time every squad and every stage.
Oh, I was doing that in Oklahoma.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm real like that's I couldn't get the like I'm gonna dry fire 2 hours a day to make GM autism. No, I got I'm gonna be entirely focused on how quick the turns on the shooters are so that I can stay within at least the designated time frame of the matrix.
And at Oklahoma, we were within the matrix.
Oh yes, we were.
We had to jump a bay.
Yeah,
you can be too fast. That is a thing.
We were running pretty fast in Oklahoma.
That sounds like a problem for everyone else.
And honestly, I've been asked this.
If you're on a big field course, that's great. But if you're on a 20-round medium course,
I have probably because even when I CRO, I try to keep the stage moving. Oklahoma was great because I didn't have to scream reset once. Right. I've probably been the cause of stacking up a squad or two at the next stage down the line before.
Yeah, like it can be that you're the problem, not everyone else. I've seen that at matches before too.
Yes, you can run too fast.
Yes, it is a thing that can happen, 100%. But that's not usually the problem. It's usually
it's usually there's a backup from something else. And
what is the key to? On that note, what's the key to making it go? Making it hyper efficient so that you're turning them over in 2.5 minutes.
get the walkthrough done, get the WSB done, get the walkthrough done. I'm real big. Make sure I time my walkthroughs, and just keeping people moving. I mean, at a competitor reset match, it's just keep people resetting. I mean, reset's what does it. And sometimes it can just be, there's, say you have a long course going straight into a short course, or a short course going straight into a long course. Yeah, sometimes it's just going to get stacked up a little bit, and it can kind of fall into the category of, oh shit, that's just the way this is going to be.
Yeah.
But really it's efficiency. It's efficiency of time, keeping everybody moving, keeping reset done. I personally I think the staff should always be resetting swingers.
Yeah.
Also for equity, make sure it's set the same way every time. My biggest fear as an RO is getting a stage tossed because of something stupid that I didn't pay attention to.
Yeah. That would bother me a lot if that happened. There was a stage at Area 3 that on staff day there was this is why I hate wrist above shoulder starts. There was a stage that was wrist above shoulders, and my entire squad did not start that way.
Oh no.
Every time you add a change to the start position, there's always that risk of one squad. And being very clear, we had a club match where it was like, hey, starting hands on black dot. Well, there was 3 black dots on the walls from other matches, and we watched other squads' videos, and we went, they didn't start where they were supposed to. Shit. And so, yeah, be very clear, very concise, and ask yourself, is it worth it?
Yeah, and that's something that if you've got that, it needs to be very specific, especially if it's something weird. It's got to be in the WSB, and it's got to be specific.
Oh, it was in the WSB at Area 3. We just all walked up because we're all staff, and we all shot it with wrist below belt.
And that, man, it can happen. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I've seen it. People are fallible. We make mistakes. It happens. But, man, I just live in fear that the stage is going to get tossed.
So you've been in the sport for all of 15 months, but you've RO'd, you said 17 or 19 majors?
That's more than me.
So this one, Mid-Mississippi Christmas Classic that I just finished, was my 17th major. I've got a list. I did one PCSL match. I did the PCSL West Coast 2-Gun Championship out in California. So under USPSA, IPSC, or USPSA, IPSC, it would be 16. And one of those was IPSC Nationals, and one was the Area 2 Steel Challenge match.
Okay.
So I think, what would that put it at?
So 17, give or take. So
17, and we did a 12-stage level 1 match in Dallas at Mission 160 over the summer. It was a level 1 charity match to raise money for to combat human trafficking.
Oh, nice.
And I RO'd that. It was major format. It was half day. Staff all day Friday, competitors half day Sunday, because nobody wants to be out in the sun in Texas for a whole day in the middle of July.
No.
And that was an awesome match. It was the North Texas Freedom Cup. We're doing it again this year.
That's at Mission 160? Is that a Dallas area range?
Yeah, it's just northeast of Dallas.
Nice. So with how little you've been in the sport, what was it like? Like, did you know the top guys when you first RO'd them, or did you just be like, hey, this next squad's coming up, whatever, and you're like, oh, they're kind of fast? Or did you know, you're like, oh, that's JJ Ricazza, or that's blah, blah, blah,
so
blah.
I was a kid. I used age 10 through 15, 16. I used to watch shooting sports, or Shooting USA a ton. I've been around guns my whole life, just, life and work up until the last year or two. It just didn't let me shoot competition. You work in restaurants. Your Saturdays and Sundays are pretty much taken.
You're working when everyone's having fun.
Yes, exactly. So I got out of the restaurant business. I had some weekends. I was like, cool, I can do this now. Started competing in the running guns. So yeah, when it's interesting is when I knew a lot of the names from like watching that and being around the shooting sports. So like, yeah, the first time I met JJ was at Dragon's Cup, and this van pulls up, and I'm just standing there smoking a cigarette underneath the awning kind of thing, and this big old dude just jumps out of the van, and I happen to be standing right there. He walks up and says, "Hey, nice to meet you." I was like, "Oh shit, that's JJ Ricazza."
Nice.
So I knew some of the names.
Did you get nervous ROing them the first time?
I really credit the first like match I worked that had a real like super squads was Dragon's Cup, and I credit the CRO Hal, who I just found out I will be RMing the Lone Star State Championship with Hal. He's the other RM. He's RM1, I'm RM2 for that next May, and he handed me the timer. He was like, "Cool, you're running the super squad."
I love it.
And honestly, that's immediately, and I right after ran all of them. I forget who was on that squad. I know it was JJ. I think Isaac Lockwood might have been shooting with him that match. I don't remember. It was just a little bit ago now, but I remember I said to Hal, I was like, that was one of the smoothest squads I've ever run. And he goes, "Yeah, the super squads usually are."
Yeah, they're super easy to RO. My only fear is that they'll actually fuck up in DQ when I'm running the timer.
Man, and shit, it happens.
Yeah.
It happens. And really, that phrase you hear, it's not when you DQ, it's not if you DQ, it's when. It's going to happen. I haven't caught one yet, and I'm sure I will, and I'm sure it'll happen. You shoot enough matches, it happens.
Jeff, how many times have you DQ'd?
Technically once. It was at a charity match, and I DQ'd because I grabbed my PCC off the table, and it grabbed the rear side of my Shadow 2 and pulled it out of the holster because this was before the locks. And so I had the down gun during course of fire, even though it was an empty Shadow 2. And anyways, so yeah, that's my DQ.
So you have one DQ.
Yeah.
I have 0 DQs. And I've been shooting for 10 years.
We can change that.
I hope that in 10 years I'm sitting with that track record.
Or actually, I've shot 11 seasons. Like 10 year. Next year will be 10 years I've been a USPSA member, but I started shooting in 2015. And so this was my 11th season, and I have not DQ'd. But how many times should I have been DQ'd?
Exactly.
Is another discussion altogether.
I think I've about a dozen.
I know of one for sure. And, when people are like, "Oh, you know what? I pulled my gun out outside the safe area. You should DQ me now." Like, no, I'm not going to do that. But I did that during a walkthrough, and no one happened to see me do it. I didn't pull it all the way out. Like, I was miming a draw, and it came out like halfway. I'm like, shit. And I put it back right away. And
I had one that it was a couple weeks ago at West Coast PCSL 2 gun. Or I shot the 1 gun match because I was going on vacation in California the week after and really didn't want to drive around with an AR-15 and a Miata for a week. Yeah, right? I'm an idiot and decided that instead of being a reasonable person, it was on their 200-yard bay at Richmond, and I decided that I was going to, engage the targets from the back. The last target was one of the PCSL drop mag targets. So you shoot one round, drop your mag, shoot your gun clear, and then run all the way up to the next. And you had to skirt around this car. And I decided that I was going to do something stupid for the gram. So I decided to try to jump onto the car hood and run over it. It worked fucking poorly is how it worked. And I watched my video back the next, my right foot got onto the car hood, slipped, and then I went into the car hood and off the car. I did keep the gun. I kept the gun in my hand. And actually, I was watching the video that night, and I was like, damn, when I actually jumped, I'm watching the muzzle of my pistol. And I actually even texted the RO that was there, and I was like, man, did I break 180? And he responded, he was like, I don't think we said it in the walkthrough, but after you shoot your gun clear on that drop mag target, we considered it inert.
Yep.
And I was like, it looks close, but I wasn't sure. And he was like, even if you had it, it would have been a it wouldn't have been a 180 DQ. I was like, okay, cool. And then I've had a couple where like hand slips in a port or body slips. And I personally think, I know of one that I am almost certain I broke the 180, but I just don't think the RO could see it. And I mean, it happens. You get away with one once in a while.
I don't think I've ever broke 180. Like, legit, I really don't think I ever have.
Well, Jeff, I'm glad you didn't turn 215 at that target at the Oklahoma match.
I mean, that is how I should have DQ'd, but it was at a multi-gun match, and I was shocked because, to put simply, we called it the execution trench because they just put 9 targets up against the berm, and I literally barrel touched all of them. And one of them, I didn't blow the head completely off, and I'd already stepped past it, and so I just pointed back at it and blew the head off, and I like stopped, and the RO who was ROing is a very particular British gentleman at my club, and I was like, "You're not DQing me for that? All right, whatever." And so I just kept going.
Kept going. And Jeff, I know we're friends on Instagram. I had one of these where I just could not remember the rule in my own head. So 2 weeks ago at this single stack only major, I was supposed to shoot staff on Friday. I don't shoot single stack. I don't shoot fucking iron sights often. I was supposed to shoot staff day, and Thursday night I just feel like hell. Text the match director, RM. I was like, hey, I'm not going to make it. I'll just come work the match Saturday, Sunday. Well, the match wasn't full, so Saturday we had a full crew of ROs. I wasn't the CRO on this stage, and they're like, hey, Luke, you should go ask the match director if you can shoot through. Just borrow a gun, borrow a belt, borrow ammo, shoot through the match. And so I ended up shooting like 10 stages in like an hour and a half. No walkthrough, just walk up. Hey, can I shoot? I got to shoot through. Boom, 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 boom. Next stage, reload, quick, get back at it. Problem was the gentleman whose belt I borrowed. I first off made the mistake of not borrowing his inner belt too.
Oh no.
Oh.
He is a smaller gentleman than I am. Actually, it was the match director for Oklahoma Sectional. It was Mitch's gun belt. And Jeff, you saw Mitch. I'm fatter than Mitch is. I'm solidly fatter than Mitch is. And so I had about 1.5 inches of tail on this. It was a Velcro double alpha belt. And I get up and I've got a belt keeper on there, but it's, I get up to shoot through right in front of the super squad for this match. It was like Elias Frangelis, Mike Dixon, Jalise, couple of the RMs from North Texas, and I get the start signal, draw the gun, move about 7 feet to the left, and as I'm moving, the belt is falling off. And in the video, you can actually see me. I've got the gun up, pointed at the target. The belt lands right at my feet, and I look at it, and I'm like, okay, I'm not getting stopped. Grab the belt with one hand and start shooting strong hand only with a 45.
Let's go.
It was rough. I think I finished that match with 22 mics and 6 FTSAs.
Oof.
Is this video on your Instagram?
It is, in fact, on my Instagram. It would be one of the last videos posted.
Oh, like most recent?
Yes, it was last weekend.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. It's up.
It's when things go horribly wrong. Okay.
It sure is. Yes, that would be the...
Okay.
And
whoa, no, we can't play copyrighted music on here. Okay, never mind. I don't know if you guys were hearing that or not.
No.
Oh, okay. It cuts it out. Oh, you're literally holding your belt in your hand.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And
This
then I
is
realized
awesome.
the magazines actually fell out on the ground out of the belt, so I ended up dropping the belt and going up and picking up like 3 or 4 fucking 8-round single stack mags. I'm just shooting strong hand only, which to be fair, I shoot strong hand only for a B class. Like I'll be straight. I'm a 62%, I think, B class CO shooter. I shot about 8,000 rounds and 3 majors this year, strong hand only, with a broken arm. I shoot strong hand well, but I'd still prefer not to be doing it with an iron sight 45.
I'm gonna play by play this. Okay, here's the beat. Luke moves to his left with a butt in his mouth. The belt falls off his waist. He looks down at it for a full second, like, the fuck? Then shoots the targets in front of him, picks up the belt with one hand, shoots the remaining targets weak hand only or strong hand only, then drops the belt again. Now he's picked up the belt. He's moving to his right. Strong hand in the corner. Strong hand downrange on the no shoot. That looked hard. And then cut it off.
Yeah, I didn't want to put the rest like 20 seconds of me just trying to shoot strong hand while holding magazines on the video. The funny part was in the beginning.
At that belt is so funny. You're just like,
in my head, I'm like, you can see the rule book going before my eyes, and like, okay, no, you can't drop the belt with the gun in it, but
no, but
the
if the belt
gun's in
falls
my hand,
off, you're okay.
The gun's in my hand.
Yep.
So I think at the end of the stage, one of the other somebody handed me the belt, put it around my waist, and I just I holstered and then just held the belt until I could get to the safe table.
I actually had the same thing happen to me, and I was told it was going to be a DQ. So my belt didn't come fully off, but this was at Area 3 like 7 years ago. I was shooting single stack during the infamous era, and that was a mistake. And it was like falling off me, and I'm like holding it kind of like what you're doing, but like it never fully came off. And so I was able to, like, the RO kind of got it back on my belt or whatever I put the gun away, and they went, yeah, if it would have fully fallen off, that would have been DQ. And I was like, ruh-roh.
With your gun in it?
See,
no, without the gun
and that's
in
what I wasn't, in my head,
Why?
I wasn't sure about it. Because the rule book does state that a belt has to be securely fastened.
Yeah, but sometimes securely fastened belts break and they fall off. Like,
Yeah,
there's no penalty for a belt falling off, though.
At nowhere in the rule book does it state that it is a DQ if the belt falls off. It's just embarrassing as all hell when you've got, three national champion GMs watching you do it.
There's no.
That's the best time to do it.
Yeah. It
Well,
really
and
is.
it could have either been.
It was I think possibly the funniest thing Mike Dixon's ever seen. He thought it was hilarious.
Well, yeah, no, that would be a legendary moment. Okay, so you've speed ran ROing and doing all of the RO training and certifications and all that stuff. How would you make it better, or like change the system to get more people involved, or to get higher quality people, or train people better? What would you change?
Man, that's a great question. And so I just organized an RO seminar up in North Texas and Dallas area at 160 again, because the sport needs more ROs, and I've been talking to a couple of guys up at Collin County USPSA, my buddy Matt, and I was like, hey, let's get a seminar going. There's no seminars right now in Texas. And then Austin's actually having one too now. I will be honest, I personally feel like the cost to organize seminars it's high, and it's an odd upfront cost to both the clubs and to the students. I mean, I did some math. I averaged the cost of the student cost, and it's anywhere from $50 to $100 for the students.
You mean for the class tuition itself?
Yes, and then it's it's for up to 20 students. It's $800 to the organization, $40 for a student over, plus the costs of having to basically host the RMI, which I get it. I mean, it's you got somebody traveling in to teach. You should be feeding them dinner and putting them up in a hotel. It's not cheap. I mean, we're looking at roughly $1,500 total, we've been able to get some of the clubs to help pitch in, the North Texas section clubs, and I really appreciate this. CITASA and Lake Forest that are both clubs in North Texas, have pitched in money to help keep the seminar cost low to the students. We managed to get it at $50 per student, and which is about as low as it gets. A lot of matches will do, or a lot of clubs will do seminars where if you work a major that's associated with that club, they'll reimburse your RO fee. I got lucky, and one of my RO course was through for the Texas State Open, so they reimbursed my match fee or my RO fee after that match, and then the same for my CRO with Area 6. But it's it's a time intensive thing for the students. That's 2 days that they could be shooting. Right. And they could be shooting matches those 2 days, that Saturday, Sunday that you're in the class. And it's, I try to expound. I've gotten a couple of my buddies, actually a whole bunch of them. I shoot the local matches in San Antonio with my buddies Frank, Andrew, and Manny, and they're all taking the Austin seminar now in the spring. And I got Frank out. He worked Area 4. It was his first major as staff. I think the second one he shot, and he had a blast. And he's like, okay, now I want to do this. And so it's like, that's why I post on my social media the stuff, me going around the country ROing, because it's like, hey, there's some cool shit you get to do doing this. Right. It's, and plus, you get to shoot major matches for free.
Yeah.
Like,
so when it comes to the class, like, one of the things that I had a big boy job for a while, and like, I kind of feel the majority of the RO class could be done via like send me the PowerPoint, make me take a 10 question questionnaire at the end of it, and we're good.
Man, I've done CRO, I've done RO seminar. And now I don't know, how long have you been certified, Jeff?
I took the class and didn't take
Jeff,
the test.
didn't you not take the test? We went over this at fucking Oklahoma. Yes. So, God, you did you did all the shit up until the take the test part of it.
Correct. ADHD is a wonderful thing.
Isn't it great? I do think so. When you did it, was there a large portion of it that was online?
No,
it was all in
None
person.
Of it was
other than the tests on the website.
Okay,
that was the first time we actually met. Was in that class back in 2018.
Oh, nice. So what I've done both of mine this year. Now, a lot of the really kind of tedious shit is in an online learning management system module that you do before the class.
No,
just a lot of the really tedious, rules type stuff is there. At least that way, it's still a 2-day class, but at least that way the RMI gets to focus on the stuff in the class that really is more helpful, being able to demonstrate it, like, the nuances of scoring with overlays, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's some more group work with, how would you interpret this, etc. So I think it cuts out a lot of the really tedious stuff, and the RMI gets to focus on the real nuts and bolts and stuff that's more is going to be more beneficial learning it in person. And okay. I will say this: I have learned if you're going to RO a lot and you want to do it do it well, you're going to learn a lot of what you learn doing it. You learn doing it. You learn working matches. And that's something I personally, when I work a major, my goal is usually to walk away from there with 2 to 3 new things that I didn't know or how it could be interpreted. So I'm sure if you talk to some of the RMs I've worked for, I have picked their brain about whatever off the cuff rules question or interpretation came into my head. I was telling Andy before you jumped on, I got to embed on a squad at Mid-Mississippi as with Troy this last weekend.
Okay.
And on Friday, we ran a squad through the match on Friday on staff day because we had shot Thursday. And I even told him, I was like, man, I'm sure sometimes you're like, hey, who's this dude that just turned the fuck up out of nowhere and just bombards me with rules questions whenever he has something? And he gave me that the Troy chuckle.
Yeah. Yep.
And and that's why we have our RMIs, that's why we have RMs, that's why we have DNROI, is so that there is that process so you can learn. It's and I think as a CRO, your job is to be teaching the ROs that work with you so that everybody can learn. I mean, if I'm going to work 20, I'm planning on probably 25-ish majors next year, 17 this year. If I don't take what I learn and teach it to other ROs, then I'm not doing myself a service or the sport a service. And at the end of the day, it's a volunteer sport.
I have a question, though, for you, Luke. Okay.
Sure.
So you took both classes last year. Where did you learn how to be an RO?
Working the matches. I will be 100% honest. You learn 90. You learn the rules. You learn the how to do the overlays. You learn some of the stuff taking the seminar, but you really learn how to be an ROing matches. And actually, I'd already. So I started in competition in 2024, I guess beginning of 2024. I started shooting the run and gun matches, the Mystery Operations Run and Gun series, like 6 events across the state of Texas. And the guys at my local gun shop have been doing these forever, for like 15 years. And they got me into that. And I kind of tagged along with them the first match of last year, and I ended up ROing it. So I tell people this, even between run and gun, PCSL, USPSA, whatever, I have never shot a major type match as just a competitor.
You should do it. It's fun.
I am shooting Caribbean Open in February, and I am so looking forward to it.
Is that in Puerto Rico?
Yes. I figured if I was going to shoot my first match as a competitor, and I know it's technically outlaw with mixture of USPSA, IPSC rules. I was like, if I'm going to shoot, but if you get, Mason, Nils, you have that many USPSA Super Squad guys out there, it's a major. And that'll be my first one. And I was like, yeah, if I'm going to shoot something, there's like 20 of us from Texas going. I was like, this is the one I want to do, because they all come back every year from Caribbean and they're like, this is awesome. So I was like, yeah, all right, this is my reward for a hell of a 2025. I'm going to pay the match fees and I'm going to go buy the plane ticket and go shoot Caribbean Open.
So back to where you learned how to do it. I don't know. Like, I'm almost done on the board. I really strongly believe one of two things needs to happen with the RO class, the level 1, your first RO class. It either needs to be all one day, top to bottom, which we did at my club in Canton with the current curriculum. I think the current curriculum could probably be shorter. Like, we don't need to drink the entire fire hose, on this one day, we could maybe just give them a garden hose and make them drink from that with it on full blast. Or
man, sorry, Eddie, go ahead.
No, go ahead. What were you going to say?
I think, man, if it could be one day, it'd be great. Like, that way, at least your students, because like I said, I'm organizing this class in Dallas. I know I've got students coming up from San Antonio, from other places, and at that point, you're looking at hotels,
right? There were a bunch of guys in our class who only took it because it was a one-day class. Like, probably half the class only took it because it was one day.
Because they were all about a one-day class.
They were all from farther away. Like, there were some guys from Watertown, which is like an hour and a half north of Sioux Falls. Hour and a half is like on the border of, do we really want to drive back an hour and a half, get up super early, and drive another hour and a half down there? Actually, to Canton, it's more like 2 hours. Or do we get a hotel? Or do we just not?
Yeah, and and again, it's a volunteer sport. I hate, when you have to tell people, okay, so that you can volunteer for this sport, we now need you to shell out fees for the seminar and then a hotel.
I don't think that's that bad, though. I've never heard of a class being over $60.
Man, I did the math on this. I took the next, when I was trying to figure out how much we were going to charge for this seminar at 160, I was like, all right. And I plugged it into a calculator and I added up the, to see what the aggregate or the average of the next 15 seminars being hosted was. And they went up as high as $120, which
Why?
I want to say that was the Hawaii one.
Do you have to pay rent at the place where you have the class?
And that's the thing is, so like, there's ways to keep your seminar costs down. I have to thank, I will take this time to quickly thank Devin and Kevin from Mission 160 for the range itself, for donating the use of the bay and their classroom to the seminar and not charging for it.
Okay, so that costs nothing. Like
that costs nothing. We were able to keep the seminar costs down as good as we could.
Well, and you're doing it just on your own, not as a club?
Technically, it's Collin County USPSA hosting it.
Okay.
That's the club associated with Mission 160, and then a couple of the other North Texas. So there's like 9 clubs in the North Texas section outside of Dallas area. So a couple of the match directors I've talked to, and they've kicked in a little bit of money to help. And
that's where I was going with that. Is like that's an investment by the club.
Because if you have 9 majors, or if you have, I think next year we're going to have, just in the spring, there's going to be at least 3 majors in North Texas area. So you get 20 more certified ROs. And I mean, I know a lot of people that take the RO class and don't work matches. That's fine. A better educated competitor base is also a benefit to the sport. I'm hoping that of the 20 people that are taking this class, that 10 of them turn into working ROs that at least work matches in the majors in the North Texas section. Because 10 more ROs is, that's 1 extra RO per stage.
The other thing...
That's a huge difference.
The other thing I think should happen with the class is it just goes online, and then there is some sort of club mentorship with CROs at the local club level. Because I teach ROs how to RO. Like, people go to classes, but when we get new ROs, then they're on my squad learning as I do it. When I see them do something that's not ideal, then I give the correction because they're an RO at my club.
I think that, and so I helped the match director for that running gun series that I do set up an RO program for his organization, and the way I kind of did it was that, because we don't, it's 6 matches a year. We're not having a seminar for this. So we did it with kind of pairing up new staff members with experienced staff members. And I almost think that the organization of USPSA could do something possibly similar, where if you do the entire course online, where you work a match and you're partnered with an experienced CRO at the discretion of the range master or something like that, and then at the end of the match, the CRO or the RM, then just make a note to NROI, hey, person X did a great job, they're good, give them the official RO certification, something like that. That way it could.
I thought the CRO class was pretty good, though.
The CRO class was good. I'm not a match director. I'm not a stage. I don't really find myself designing stages all that often. But just for proofing as a CRO, with the stage design being such a big part of the CRO class, being able to proof a stage is super important.
Yeah.
And know, okay, hey, this.
Don't put a target at 210 degrees from the front right position.
Well, just don't DQ, Jeff.
I know. Just don't DQ.
Yeah, stuff like that. That's super important. It's also when I realized, oh, God, I'm not very good at designing stages. And I think that, and that's fine. I don't need to.
No, you do. The world needs more stage designers, Luke.
So I joined that USPSA IPSC stage design group on Facebook, and I do play around with it. I've got practice sim, and I'll get, I'll have a whiskey drink or two and play around with practice sim. So I've gotten to pick Tim Herron's brain a decent bit, and I think Tim's one of the best stage designers out there. Also, one of the most enthusiastic resetters that I know. Tim actually like runs out to reset stages after he shoots. After people shoot. I think Tim's a great stage designer, so I've gotten to pick his brain a lot about, hey, why do you do this when you design stages? Why do you do that? And he's always been great about answering questions. And it's something that I want to get better at. I think that as I progress as a shooter, I'll probably get better at stage design too.
Oh, it sounded like there was more to that sentence left. Okay. Well, I have to get to bed early tonight because I have to work. I have to get up in, 6 hours. Fuck.
Oh,
okay.
God.
Yeah, I got to get up at 3 a.m. I did want to say that one more thing before we go, completely unrelated to everything else. I got an email today, Jeff.
Okay.
The email said, hey, I got the check. I'll be shipping your M1 on Tuesday.
Nice.
And I'm like, and I'm immediately like, why Tuesday?
It's fucking Tuesday.
It's well, of course it's because that's the wrong button.
It's fucking Tuesday.
I can't believe I didn't think of that. I was so focused on the why. Why Tuesday? Why is it Tuesday?
It's fucking Tuesday.
Well, because his his store is closed on Mondays.
Oh.
Minor details.
It's fucking Tuesday.
I went into that completely without that in my head, by the way.
Oh,
Thank you for reminding me of the joke.
I thought I'd taken the joke from you.
No, you didn't. You actually reminded me of the joke
Yay.
that I had not.
I'm not completely useless. Woo.
No, but I'm so excited. I'm shopping for clips because they're actually clips. They're not magazines. And
They're clipazines.
they're and bandoliers and the cardboard
God.
inserts.
Let's go.
And
Let's go.
Bayonets are expensive if you find one. Those are, Jesus, like they're not cheap. If you get like an original, you're looking at $300 or more for one of those. I figured that somebody was making reproductions, but not really apparently. But yeah, so I'm super excited to get my Garand finally.
Nice.
Finally,
That's awesome.
finally.
Every time I'm going to CMP twice next year, and I worked Area 6 at CMP this year, and it was very hard not to walk out of that shop with an M1.
Yeah. And the one I got was it was easy for me because of the weird requirements I put on the gun that I wanted, but the one I'm getting was a CMP rifle. So,
Nice.
It's got the cert and the paperwork and all that. So, yay! It should be here this week then. By the time the Friday episode comes out, it should be here because for what it's costing to ship it, it fucking better be.
Yeah. Oh, well.
$60 to ship it.
Oof.
Yeah.
Well, I did join your Patreon this week, so there you go.
Patreon.com/another-shooting-show. Help me pay for shipping for my M1 Garand. All right.
And
On that note, Luke, thank you so much for joining us. It was a
I
good time.
appreciate it, Andy. Thank you for having me.
He is Jeff King. I'm Andy Erickson. This is Not Another Shooting Show.